23 goals at 23 years old. I'm an average 23-year-old, and in the next year, you're gonna see me completely change my life. I'm a lad, and this is a year worth telling. Hello. So I was supposed to upload this video on Sunday, and then the last video a couple days before that, but time has just been going by so fast, so I haven't really been able to get my footing in. Just to give you an idea of one of the days that I had last week, I had an interview in the morning that my older sister referred me to for that company, and then afterwards, right after the interview, I celebrated her marriage with my now brother-in-law. And by the grace of God, the company offered me a verbal offer last week, and they're gonna sign me, the contract details and the NDA this week on Friday, I think. So my life has been packed, but in a good way, as I'm the happiest I've ever been in the 23 years of my life. It's a sense of peace that is so subtle. Something you can't quite explain, but something you want to pass on to others. It's no wonder I want to share the gospel and share my testimony with everyone around me, as my life has completely took a 180, despite only being saved a couple of weeks ago. I want to share the good news to the people around me, and I can't wait to see how God will use me. Not because I deserve any of these blessings that God gives me or will give me, so that people can see how a wretched person like me could never ever achieve any of these things that I'm gonna do, but through my willingness to abide in God, I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. With that all in mind, I've been thinking about putting a lot to the side. I started this channel on a whim and with the intention of personal growth and making goals that I thought would help change my life. Even though I didn't complete all 23 goals, barely any at the moment, if I'm gonna be honest, my life has completely changed. Not because of anything that I did, but because of what God did. In this change, the direction that I want to take in my life has changed as well. As such, some of the existing goals no longer support my growth. For example, reading 23 books. I finished another book, but it was painful to finish it, even though it was a book about experiencing God, right? I would say it was 3 stars out of 5. It's weird, right? Since I've been saved, all I want to do is just read the Bible. This is kind of funny because before I was saved, I bought 10 books during Christmas, just a ton of books. And I didn't really want to read the Bible. I just kind of did it out of obligation. But now it's the complete opposite. The Bible is the only book that I want to read, and I'm just so convicted to learn more and study it. And I've read hundreds of self-help books and just books in general. And by far my favorite book that I've read so far is the Bible. Another goal I had was to cold approach 100 people, since I had this intense fear of going up to a random person and starting a conversation. I realized that this fear is now gone. I've met over 50 people in the last couple of months, so I don't really see the point in trying to, force meaningless conversations just for the sake of hitting an arbitrary goal. So the question now is, if I'm going to put a lot to the side, what is the focus of my life going to be now? Well, I hung out with a friend that I met from church, and she said something that really convicted me in the direction that I want to go in my life. We were kind of talking about random stuff in general, but at some point she mentioned possibly wanting to be a stay-at-home wife. It's been a long time since I heard anyone say that, but it kind of made me remember I myself do want a stay-at-home wife, or a future where we're financially stable and she can work if she wants, but it's not out of necessity. However, my current goals and the direction of a lad doesn't really align with the man and provider that I want to be, right? I've been so focused on self-growth that I kind of neglected this other part of self-growth, which is preparing for growth with another person. God has been weighing this in my heart for a long time, this desire to find true love and not find something out of infatuation or lust like the past. So first and foremost, I want to become a godlier man and build my relationship with God, so that when the soulmate that God has for me comes along, we're able to build this relationship together on a solid foundation, which is God. It will be impossible for me to love the woman that God has for me the right way if I don't have that love for God beforehand in the first place. The second thing I want to focus on is excelling and advancing my career, since the job has commission based on performance. I want to set myself up financially right now so that in the future I can focus on my wife, kids, and just spreading the gospel. So in summary, I'm focused on becoming a godlier man and focusing on my career. As for a lot, instead of trying to complete all these goals within 1 year and trying to upload weekly, I'm going to be focused on more quality rather than quantity, right? I'm just going to pursue these goals in the remaining free time I have. However that may look, I'm not too sure right now. And yeah, I think that wraps up everything. A bit of a yap session, but that's been it for me, folks. Life has been great, filled with lots of joy, trials, and tribulations. In each trial and tribulation though, my relationship with God strengthened, and what comes after is just a peace that flows in me and pours outwardly to the lives around me, right? It's been a lot, guys. May all your lives be blessed. Until next time, whenever that may be. that I neglected another part of self growth. Growth. What is growth? What am I? What the goof? Why am I naked? What is this skin? Yo, what the goof is this skin, bro? They didn't believe in us. God did.